Hello, guys. Without wasting your time further, I would like to introduce your speaker for the day, Mr. Pranshu. Hey, Pranshu, are you there on call?
Hi, yeah, I'm here.
Yes.
You can hear
So
me? Can you hear me?
yes, loud and clear. So
Great.
Pranshu here is now Pranshu, all yours.
Okay, thank you very much. So I will share my screen. Just let me share my screen. Yeah. So if in the complete session, if you guys are not able to hear me or if there is any issue, just let me know. And if there is any disturbance from my side as well, please let me know. And because I won't be hearing like myself. So if there are any issues, just let me know. And please feel free to put any questions in chat. I am here to answer you, as well as I hope you guys are all excited to listen about my journey in robotics and how you can become a robotics engineer, how you can take this as a career, and what all things does this career opportunity include. So without any further ado, let's get started. So first of all, why should you listen to me? Who am I? So I will give you a short introduction about myself. So I am a 23-year-old mechatronics engineer, and mechatronics is just a combination of mechanical, electronics, and a little bit of computer science. So eventually, like a combination of all these things led to the interest in robotics. So I call myself a robotic enthusiast, and this enthusiasm due to this enthusiasm, I participated in various national as well as international competitions during my college days, and I have been winner of 20 plus national as well as international robotics competitions and hackathons. I have also done an internship project at HAL, which is Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, which is the company that makes fighter aircrafts for Indian Air Force. So I worked on making it completely autonomous and like some flight systems checks and everything. So I worked on that. And apart from that, I started my own company about 10 year ago, which is Rigbetter Labs. And currently I'm completely dedicated my time to Rigbetter Labs. In Rigbetter Labs, we work around robotics, automations, IoT, machine learning, computer vision, augmented reality, virtual reality. So all those cool stuff that you might have heard, the future technology, not just computer science or not just coding, but we work on the art of technology. So we try to make technology as cool as possible. So that is what we do at Rigbetter Labs. Okay, so as I discussed, today's session will be all about robotics, how I started my journey at robotics, and how you can start your own journey in robotics. Okay, so what is there in here for you? So after this session, what will be the outcome? So first thing, you will get a first hand experience from me. So even I was a student like you, even I didn't know how I can make my career, even I don't know what are the opportunities, but here I will be sharing my first hand experience with you. So you will be getting an insight, like you can connect the dots and you can find your own career out of this. And at the same time, uh, when I started it, there were not as many resources as they are now. So I opened my own gates to all the opportunities. So even you will understand how you can do it for yourself. Okay, so let's start simple with a question, which is what is a robot? So if you have like everybody just put your answers in chat section. What is a robot? It can be anything. So please tell me what is a robot for you. uh, yes, Maurya, can we unmute them as well if somebody wants to speak?
Yeah, but there will be a lot of background noise. But I would suggest if you can drop it down so that it would be a reference for the future also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure, sure. So let's start with what is a robot? So come on, everybody, just put down your answers. So some people are messaging me personally. Guys, you can put it in like a public chat so that everybody can see that. So what is a robot? A robot can be a machine which is helped to automate tasks. Okay. So yeah, but it can
Can,
be used for automating tasks, but at the same time, uh, my washing machine, it is an automated washing machine. I don't have to do anything in that. I have to just put my clothes. It is not a robot. So can somebody give me a more detailed explanation about what is a robot?
So, Pranshu, I've got a couple of direct messages. I'm just gonna
Yes.
read them out.
Yes.
Okay. So Vibhu says that it's a combination of AI and machine.
Oh, that's really a good answer. It's a combination of AI and machine. So let's take this example and let's see. So here I can see a fictional character from a Disney movie, a Pixar movie, Wall-E. So here it's a machine as well as an artificial intelligence. So whenever we see this word robot, some picture like this comes into our mind. At the same time, uh, when we say robot, some terrorizing pictures as well come into our mind, saying like something like this, or a movie of Rajnikant, which was Robot, a movie of Akshay Kumar, which was Robot 2.0, where robots are destroying human beings and something like that. So usually they are like these robots. The term robots come from like a combination of mechanical thing, mechanical human being usually, or something like a living organism, but it's a mechanical thing, and along with its own intelligence. So that is what happens whenever we think about a robot. So I have one more question. There is one more character which is commonly known by everybody, which is Iron Man, obviously. So can you guys tell me, is Iron Man a robot? Do you think is Iron Man a robot? Guys, please put it in publicly. Don't put it in private chats. So Sirja Patel is asking a machine that works automatically that can do some tasks to humans. So yeah, but as I said, my washing machine is not a robot because it does my task. It is doing for a human being, but it is not a robot. A virtual human or machine combined with electrical, electronics, and medical technology. Okay, that's pretty good. So is Iron Man a robot? Usually people gets confused between Iron Man as a robot or not, because it has artificial intelligence into it, but at the end there is a person inside the robot, inside the suit, which is controlling it. Whenever the suit becomes completely automatic, at that time you can call it a robot. But when it is controlled by a human being, it is more like an exoskeleton suit, or in technical terms it is called as assistive technology. So when we talk about washing machines, so washing machine is an assistive technology which assists a human being in doing certain tasks, like washing my clothes. So that comes into assistive technology. But when it is completely unmonitored, and when even like usually robots are used so that they can do multiple tasks. So let's consider, if I buy a robotic hand, I can make that robotic hand wash my clothes, or I can make that same robotic hand wash my dishes. I can make the same robotic hand cook for me. So it is just one robot, one machine that is doing a lot of things. So that is when it is particularly called as a robot. Okay. So now let's move ahead. So particularly there is no proper definition for robots. Like whenever you learn science, there is a proper definition. But for robots, there is no specific definition. The reason behind it that is there is not like a particular robot made right now. So there is not one robot and every robot is like that. It is not happening. If you talk about mobile phone, the main task of a mobile phone is a device that can help you communicate. But similarly, there is no generalized robot. There are some robots made for cleaning houses. There are some robots made for industrial manufacturing. There are a lot of types of robots. So there is no particular definition for it. It depends on the tasks. But at the same time, uh, where does this robot word came from? If there is no definition, so how did it came into a dictionary? So in the year 1920s, so almost 100 years from now, there's a small country called as Czech Republic, if you might know, like it's a European country. So in that country, there was a writer called as Karel Capek, who wrote a play in the year 1920s, almost 100 years from now. And in that, there were mechanical human beings who were forced to do household tasks. So just like washing clothes, washing, like cleaning my house, all those household tasks. So there were mechanical human beings. So in Czech language, this robota means forced labor. So in that play, it was called as robota, and from there it evolved, and this word robot came into the picture. Okay, so that is the origin of robotics. So if like from that, like it's been 100 years now, and in these 100 years there have been a long history of robotics. So the first industrial robot was made in the year 1954, which is after 20 to 25 years after the word robot being introduced. Okay, so the first industrial robot name was Universal Automation. So here the word universal automation was then shortened into a word called as Unimation. Okay, so they took some shortcut because using robots is just generally just due to you want shortcuts in your life. Okay, so after that, after a couple of years, the same company that made Unimation robotic hand, they made a Puma manipulator. So here the Puma is not the animal, it is not the shoe brand. Here Puma stands for Programmable Universal Machine for Assembly. So here there was a robotic hand that was used for assembly in all the industries. So that is when this Puma manipulator came into the picture. And from then, industrial robotics grew because people understand that, yeah, we can use robotic hands for doing certain tasks. So now people already did a hard coded robotic hand that can pick an object, place it somewhere. So it was just programmed in single way. It can pick something, it can place something. It used to just do that. But now people wanted intelligent robots. So how did intelligent robot came into picture? So in the year 1980s, people started adding cameras to the robot. They started adding wheels to the robot. They started
Class.
adding more and yes. Is there anybody? Okay, it's fine. So they started adding different sensors to the robot, and they started making intelligent robots. And the year 1995 came, and that was the time when all right, industries were already using robots in their daily automation tasks. Along with, there were startups emerging at that time which started using robots for warehouses, for hospitals, and for a lot of things. And then in the year 2003, the space age of robotics started when NASA first like launched their Mars rover, which was a robot sent to Mars for exploring water and history of water on Mars. Okay, so that was when a lot of people understood like robotics is going to be the future. So many people started making robots. They started making space exploration robots. They started making robots that can go at places where humans cannot go. And if you talk from 2003, we have came a long way ahead, and nowadays people can easily see robots like these on the internet. It's pretty famous. It's a robot by a company, Boston Dynamics, an American based company. So here I have a short video of this robot. Let's go through it and let's see how it works.
A real live robot. Our number one priority is keeping employees safe.
So here you can see these robots are used at places where humans cannot go, like mining industries. There is also a video in, further in this where it was sent to Chernobyl. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, yes, you're audible, Pranshu.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible, Pranshu.
Hello. Hello, Moria, am I audible?
Yes, Pranshu, you are audible. Go ahead.
Okay, no issue. So these robots are sent to places where a human cannot go. It is dangerous for a human to go, or at some places where there is repetitive task, like at a construction site. There should be a inspector who can go and inspect each and every part daily. So these repetitive tasks can be done by a machine. Instead of that, humans can do more creative tasks. So that is the reason these robots were introduced, and now they are selling like in huge numbers in various industries. Okay, so now if we go further, the same company, the Boston Dynamics, they also made a, after making a dog-like robot, they made a robot which looked like a human being, which had 2 legs, 2 arms, and that can do things that not all humans can do. Only a few of people can do parkour. So they also started making these kind of robots. So the reason why I'm showing you these robots is to show you at what pace is the robotic industry growing. Okay, so just go through it. We will be discussing more like how these robots work internally. We will be talking about that. Yeah, so in this video you saw these robots were doing backflips and everything. So even I cannot do a backflip, but obviously, and I'm pretty sure the robotic engineers who made this, even they cannot do a backflip. But this robot was pretty popular because it can do stuff more like a human. So it can pick up things, it can place something. So the age of robotics is becoming in a way where robots are becoming more and more human like. There are also robots that can speak, that can express. So here is the Sophia, the robot. Uh, so Sophia robot can speak. It has its own intelligence. So it has not to be programmed to say anything. It has artificial intelligence into it. So if you ask any random question, she will have her own thoughts. And as she has her own thoughts, as she has her own feelings, that is the reason she got uh, citizenship of Dubai, because they wanted to have freedom of speech for this robot. So that is the reason Sophia the robot got citizenship of Dubai. And soon, I'm pretty sure soon, many robots will be getting these kinds of citizenship. And the age of robots where robots are living alongside humans, it's not that far. It is pretty close. So by the time you graduate uh, from your colleges, from your schools, at that time you will be seeing robots in your day-to-day lives. Okay. Now, as I said, these robots are becoming more and more human-like. So, can anybody tell me, is Tesla car considered as a robot? It can see, it can move, it has most of the tasks like human, but can Tesla car be considered as a robot? Just like other robots that we saw, it has cameras so that it can sense the surrounding. It has motion. So instead of having legs, it has wheels. That's the only difference. Yeah, it's an assistive technology because there is a human inside. That's a really great answer, Abhimanyu. It is that tells that you are attentive in this session. Okay, that's really great. But Tesla is working on a fully functional, fully autonomous driving cars. So in that case, uh, what advantage did Tesla had was they didn't had the enough money as well as enough technology to make a human-like robot. So they made a car. They made the car in a way so that they can collect the sensor data. And now, after they have ample of sensor data, after the technology has evolved, right now Tesla is making their own humanoid robots. It's into research and development currently, and they will be releasing it in a couple of years. So Elon Musk recently announced that. So they use the sensor data that was collected from a vehicle, and they are using the same sensor data in a humanoid robot. How is it possible? How is it possible? So that is the main question. Like people say, if the data was collected on a car, it should run only on a car. So this is possible due to the operating system. Okay, so we will see, like just right now, if I make one app for a Android phone, it works on every Android phone, no matter it is a Samsung phone, no matter it is a Geo phone or anything. If it runs Android, it can work on any app. So that is one important key thing. So I will be discussing more about this later in this session, but just keep that in mind. Okay. So as I said, these robots are becoming more and more human-like. So here is a comparison chart, like how humans are very close to robots, or how robots are very close to humans. It's a two-way relationship. So just like we humans eat food for the energy, similarly, every robot needs an energy which it gets from battery. Okay. At the same time, as we humans see the surrounding, we understand the surrounding. So for seeing the surrounding, robots use cameras, they use sensors, they use lidars. So they use multiple things. Okay. After that, after they see the surrounding, they have to process the information. They have to understand, okay, this is a robot, this is a tree, this is a vehicle. They have to understand these things. How do they understand it? They understand it using the controller that they run on. Okay, so this controller can be considered as brain. So just like our eyes send signal to brain, similarly sensors, the robot sensors sends data to the controller. After that, let's consider if my eyes see a lion in front of me, it will send data to my brain that run. And what brain will do is it will send that data to my legs telling it to run. So similarly, after receiving data from sensors to a controller, robot sends it to a motor. So these are very important tasks, okay, very important components of a robot. So they send data to the motors. Once they're sent to a motor, so only one single motor cannot do a task. Let's consider if I have to run. If I just move my knee, I won't run. I have to move my hips, I have to move my ankles, I have to move both the legs. So they work in a synergy, they work in a combination, right? So these combinations are bought by linkages. So just like we have bones, we have multiple motors. I have one motor over here, I have one motor over here. We can consider these as motors. So similarly, robots need multiple motors so that they can work together. And after all these things, there is always a human interface. So if we talk about let's consider if I am very tired, if my brain says go to sleep, but my heart says no, I want to watch a Netflix movie. So at that time, even though my brain is saying that like stop working, even then my heart is saying no, keep on going, keep on going. So that is an external user interface, that is an external signal that we are providing, right? So about this external signal, we can consider it like the user interface. So even if the robot is going on front, a user interface can tell it to stop and the robot will stop moving. So it can be a mobile app, it can be a PC software, it can be anything. But these are the uh, main key components of a robot. So usually when you do a career choice, you have to take one or two of these things. So if you are a mechanical engineer, most probably you go into the motors and linkages side. If you are a software developer, you go more in the user interface side, where you develop softwares for robots. And if you are an electronics engineer, you deal with sensors and controllers. Sometimes if you are multi-talented, you can work everything together. So it's all upon you what path you want to choose. And I will be helping you choose this path in this complete session. So don't worry about it. So we already saw the physical parts of the robot. What about the soul of the robot? So as I said, Tesla took the data from a car, and the same data can be used to train a humanoid robot. So this is possible due to the operating systems. Okay, so there is like every phone has an operating system. May it be Android, it can be iOS. All your Windows, like all your laptops work on Windows operating system. All your like Mac OS works. Mac OS is itself a operating system. So similarly, all the robots which are currently made works on robot operating system. Previously, it was the case when each and every industry used to make their own software. They used to code their own robots. But right now, all the companies that are establishing currently, they want to keep everything unified. So no matter if you work in NASA or no matter if you work in Tesla or Boston Dynamics, it can be any company, you will be using robot operating system because it will be the standard for all the robots. Okay, so NASA has recently said that they will be using ROS, which is robot operating system, for their 2022 moon mission. So they are sending a rover to a moon, so that will be running on ROS. Boston Dynamics has open source their packages for ROS with the quadruped robots, which I said. So the advantage of ROS, which is robot operating system. So all these visualizations of the robot, how the robot plans their path, it is all happening into the soul of the robot, which is the operating system of the robot. So if you want to make a career into robotics, please make sure you learn ROS, because it is going to be the future of robotics. Okay, so here you can see some insights of the parkour robot that we saw. It was able to do all these things because of ROS. Okay, so here it is planning the path. So even this is happening inside the operating system of the robot. Right now, not all robots work on ROS currently. Almost 80 to 70% work currently, but right now all the companies are transforming into ROS. That is what is happening. So how to start? If I want to become a robotics engineer, if I want to learn ROS, if I want to do something in this industry, how should I start? So I will share my journey, my specific journey with this. Okay. So when I was 14 to 16 years old, I used to just open up my toys and make some robots like these. So here is me, a stupid looking person in the 14 years of age. I ripped apart my toy, which was a toy car, and made a garbage cleaning robot. So I used to love these kind of things. I used to love science fiction movies. So I used to build these kind of things. Apart from that, and these were completely made from scratch at home using waste material. I have not spent any extra money on making these things. I used to rip apart my cars. I used to rip apart my mechanics games, and I used to make cranes, something like this. And this was a remote control crane, which was controlled by a old remote control car. So there were a lot of things that I used to make, but I didn't got proper training on it. So the first time I got training was I read um, an article in a newspaper where it was saying that they are having a robotics workshop. It was going to be free, and it was in the year 2016 when I was like in my 12th standard. Yeah, so I had my board exams approaching, yet I told my mom I have to go for this workshop, and that was when I made this first robot. Okay, so it was a basic line following robot. So I this was the first time I built an intelligent robot which doesn't need a human control. It was just looking at the lines, and it was moving on its own. And whenever you start with robotics, I usually recommend people to start with these kind of robots where you can learn on your own. And these kind of resources are available on internet everywhere. So let's have a demo, and I will be teaching you to make your own line following robot. Okay, so there is a way in which you can make line following robots in just 5 to 10 minutes sitting at your home without any external hardware. How can you do it? Everything is available on internet. So we will be using a simulation for this. Okay, so no matter if you have not coded before, or no matter um, if you are new to robotics, it is very easy. You just need is the logic. Okay, so I will be building a simple thing right now on my screen, and I will be asking for volunteers later on and tell me the logic behind these line following robot. Okay, so for that we are using a website which is called as Scratch. So if you go to scratchmit.edu, I will put this into the chat as well so that everybody can see it. Yeah, so if you go onto this website, here you can make a lot of things from scratch. So that is the reason this workshop, from scratch to SpaceX. So how can you create? So just click on create button on the top, and you are in. So once you click on create, you will get a blank environment where you can create a complete environment for your robot. You can make your own robot and you can program it. Okay, so here you can see a cat. You can delete this cat from here. It's that simple. I've deleted a cat. So if I want to make a line following robot, what will be the first thing that I will need? Obviously I will need a track. I will need a line on which the robot will follow. So here I will create a drawing. I will create a paint, and I will paint a line following track. So I can just zoom in. Yeah, I can just zoom in like this, and I will create a line. So here it is. I will create brush, take a brush. I will just increase the distance to 20, and I will make a black line. Okay, So I will just select the color, and I can make a line something like this. You can make it in any shape, no matter how you want. Yeah. And once it is created, you can see there is this line. So I can just move it around. So this is our output screen. So whatever the output is, it is over here. If I make any changes over here, it will be reflected over there. So, okay. So I will name it as track. Okay. If you want, you can try this out with me because it is very simple. It won't take much time. Okay. Now we have our track ready. The second important thing is we need a robot. So let's make a robot. So I will create one more paint. Here, I will just zoom in and I will make my robot. So I will take a square. I will fill it with blue color. I want a blue colored robot. So I will select this blue color. Yeah. And instead of outline, I want outline to be 0. Okay. Now I will select this rectangle and I will make a robot like this. 4. Yeah. Yeah. So here is my robot, the blue colored robot. You can see. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Yeah. This is the perfect size for a robot. Okay. Now, can anybody of you tell me, so what if we want to make a robot follow a line, what is the next important thing? Remember about the key components. If you want to detect the environment, what do you need? Yeah, exactly. We need sensors. So we need sensors so that robot can see. So let's add few sensors to the robot. So I want my sensors to be circle and I want one sensor to be red in color. So I will make one sensor over here, which is red colored sensor. And I will make one more sensor, which will be green colored sensor. Okay. So here, now you can see, this is my blue robot and it has one red sensor. It has one green sensor. If you want, you can add wheels, but I don't want it because we can directly move this as an object in this coding. So this is done. We have created an environment. We have created a simulation where I have this robot. I can move this around and I have a track. Now I want this robot to start. So here is like start button and here is the stop button. So now I will add events. If I go into events, if I say when this is clicked, like I will just zoom in so that you guys can see clearly. Yeah, when flag is clicked, okay, then forever, then do this forever. What I want to do is I want my robot to go forward. So in motion, I will say move 2 steps. Now if I press this flag button, you can see the robot is starting moving forward, but it will go and go forward forever because I have not stopped it. It is going forward. I will stop it again. I don't want the robot to go outside the screen. Yeah, I have stopped it. So now our robot is moving forward. Now what we want is we want our robot to turn. When do we want our robot to turn? So let's say if the robot moves like this, if the robot moves here, if the red sensor touches the black line, at that time what we want is we want this robot to rotate in this direction, right? We want the robot to rotate in this direction, which is anti-clockwise direction. So I can just program it over here. So what I can tell is I can go in control if. Okay, so you've added an if condition. As we said, if the red sensor touches black line, then what will happen? Okay, so now again, we have to go in conditions. So here in sensing, as we are using it with sensor, we can select the color. So I will pick the color. So when red color is touching, when red color is touching black color, Okay, at that time, what we want the motion to happen, we want it to rotate anti-clockwise. So 15 degrees will be a lot. I will just move it 5 degrees. So here is my condition. If red color touches black color, then rotate the robot 5 degrees anti-clockwise. Similarly, I will make a duplicate, but at this time I will say if green color touches the black color, then rotate clockwise 5 degree. So instead of anti-clockwise, I will give it clockwise and I will delete this. Now I can add these blocks over here. So whenever flag is pressed, it will move forward. Then it will see if the red color or the green color is touching black color or not. If it is not, it will keep on moving forward. It's that simple. So if I now click it, I will do the full screen. Here my robot is like following the line. You can see whenever the red color is touching the black line, it is rotating anti-clockwise. And whenever the green color is touching black line, it rotates clockwise. So this is how we are making a simple line following robot without writing a single line of code. This is all possible because of simulation. So this is a very basic simulation. Whenever you get started with robotics, you can start with this. But as you move on, you can invest into hardware, you can buy robots and you can buy sensors and you can make your own robots out of this. So this is how I usually tell people to start with robotics. Okay. So it will go on forever because we have tell it to go forever. Now I will stop this and let's get back to our presentation. So with similar ideology, I made a couple of robots when I was in college, when I was in 11th, 12th standard. So just like this, I made a line following robot where you can see there are two sensors and it was able to follow line. I made obstacle avoiding robot again where there are two sensors, and whenever it used to hit an obstacle, it used to avoid it before hitting itself. Then there was a object following robot. So again, there were two sensors. If there was an object in front of the robot, it used to follow it. There was an edge avoiding robot. So I used to keep the robot on table and it won't fall ever, because whenever it used to detect that there is an edge of the table, it will just move backward and it will go somewhere else. So using similar principles, okay, the concept is same. Just using these different concepts, you can make your own robot. And everything is possible without putting 0 rupees into robotics, because right now I show you Scratch. You can go on to Scratch and make how many ever robots you want. It is completely free. It's upon you. Once you are comfortable with the simulation, then you can buy a real robot kit and you can work on it. Okay. So even I kept evolving after making these robots. I made couple of robot hands. So here this robot hand was the first robot hand I ever made. I was in 12th standard, I guess, at the same time, and it was very unstable. As you can see, I have to hold it with my hand in the video so that it don't fall. So I kept on evolving. All these three robots were made in 1 week. Why? Because I learned from my mistakes. So every time, so as I said, there is no proper definition for robot because there is no proper robot. So if you make one, you have to learn from your mistakes and you have to keep evolving. So here I learned that the base was very unstable. So I made a bigger base. Even here the robot was a little bit unstable. So I again learned and I made a even bigger base for the robot hand. And even I added intelligence. I added camera to the robot. I added stuff to the robot. So right now there are a lot of tutorials online where you can go and check out like how you can make these robots. There are YouTube tutorials. There are websites like Instructables where you can follow step-by-step guide, step-by-step instructions to make these robots. Okay. So don't ever worry. Don't find yourself very like scattered whenever you think about robotics. Everything is available online. Okay. So that led to my life decision after my 12th standard. So this everything that you saw was before I entered into 12th standard. After 12th, I like every Indian household, बेटा क्या करोगे, कौन से कॉलेज में जाओगे, कौन सी स्ट्रीम लोगे, which will be the stream that you will be choosing. So I did a little bit of research while taking this decision. So let's take a background. So when I graduated, like when I passed out of 12th, I was a pretty average kid. I was not the intelligent student in my class. I was basketball champion. I played for my college basketball team. I loved science fiction stuff. And I was not that brilliant. I scored just 70% in my 12th standard, out of which technically I just scored 67%. 2.5% I got extra due to the sports quota thing, because I won basketball championship, state level basketball championship that year. So that was the reason I got extra marks. So, but yeah, so that was the reason I was not the most brilliant kid that I will get into IIT or some other fancy colleges. So that was definitely not possible. So I did a little bit of research and I found out this. So every year in India, there are 10 lakh electronics engineers graduated. There are 15 lakhs mechanical engineers graduated and 20 lakhs computer engineer graduated. So if you add it up all, 20, 30, 45. So there are 45 lakh engineers graduated every year in India. Okay, so how will you stand out of all these 45 lakh people? If you want to do something unique, if you want to do something unique, how you have to stand out, and how will you stand out of this 45 lakh students? So I thought, why not to master all the things? Why not to master mechanical as well as electronics as well as computer? So I will be just one person who can do all three things. So that is the reason I took this mechatronics engineering field, in which I was able to learn mechanical, a little bit of mechanical designing and stuff, concepts of electronics, where I learned about microcontrollers, microprocessors, along with computer engineering as well. So I learned how to program microcontrollers, how I can make softwares for my robot. So that is what I took in the year 2016 when I like did my 12th. But at that time, in whole India, there were only three colleges that offered this thing. Okay, there were only one SRM University in Chennai, NMIMS College in Mumbai, and ADYPU in Pune. So there were just three colleges in 2016 that were offering this as an engineering degree. So again, like a middle class family, I took the cheapest college. Okay, so I got into the ADYPU Pune, which started mechatronics engineering just that year. So we didn't had any seniors uh, to guide us. We were the first batch of our college that started as a mechatronics engineers. So what I did was, I gathered all my friends in my colleges and I started teaching them about robotics. So whatever I learned, I started giving all the knowledge completely free. I was not charging for it, because I just wanted to create a proper team that can help me achieve my goals. So I started teaching them everything I knew about robotics, whatever I showed you previously, like the line following robots, the simulation, the what we say, robotic hand, everything I taught them for free. And out of this, we started going to different competitions. Okay, we started participating in different events. We went to an event where I got to try Google Glasses, that gave me inspiration to make augmented reality things, which I did in future definitely, but it gave me inspiration. So even if you are going in any college, uh, please make sure you participate in all the events. It will enrich your knowledge so much. You will learn a lot from the life. Okay, so please do that if you are doing this as a career. And out of this, in the year 2016 to 17, which is my first year of engineering, I participated in 4 different competitions and I won 0 of them, which is obviously natural because I was a newbie. I didn't know anything. I was a very rookie person in this game. But at that time, I didn't lost my hope. Okay, I took it as a good thing. I wanted to learn more and more into robotics. So what I did was, as I said, I wanted to stand out of the crowd. So me, along with my friends, we decided a motive, which is aram arame. We will not take any rest. We have to work hard to achieve our goals, and that is why even in the first year vacation period, uh, we started learning robotics even seriously. And in the first year of engineering, by the end of the year, we made this as a humanoid robot, just for fun project. Okay, in our vacation period when everyone was enjoying in home, in 1 month period we made this complete humanoid robot that you can see in front of you. At that time, Sophia was not even a thing. Sophia was first introduced to the world in the years in September 2017, and we made this in May 2017. So this is even before Sophia, even before this was a trend. So we made it long back before everything, and we learned a lot from this. The result of it, after the first year of engineering, when I won 0 competitions, after that I had 3 years of engineering left. I went to 30 plus national as well as international robotics events. I visited 15 plus college and universities, 10 different cities, 7 different states in India. Obviously, I was not able to go internationally, but I used to participate online competitions that held internationally. So I visited everywhere, and out of this, we won so many titles in 3 years. If you can count it, 11, and 11 plus, yeah, 17 to 18. So within 3 years of engineering, 18 titles our team won in the robotics. We were officially titled as like robotics champions, and uh, this was all possible due to experiencing by uh, the competitions. Okay, so if you do any course online, you won't learn from it until and unless you try it out. Even if you fail, it's completely okay, but it is going to teach you some or the other thing, because robotics is not a theoretical thing. It is not a coding based thing in which you have to sit in front of your laptop and just code the robot. It is an art. You have to learn it, you have to try it out, you have to fail to achieve something. So that is what we did, and we won so many competitions in that period. After that, we also participated in India's biggest hackathon, which was Smart India Hackathon, in which almost 120,000 students were participated, and there were different industries that came with their problem statements. And even we won Smart India Hackathon in the year 2019. So that was when we got introduced to the industry. So before that, it was just competitions, it was just fun, it was just playing. But when we participated in Smart India Hackathon, we were introduced to the industry. And once we graduated, we got to know that industries wants engineers like these who can make software, who can make robots for them, who can make solutions for them. So that gave birth, after I graduated in year 2020, that gave birth to Rigbital Labs, my own company, where we help industries build their smart system and be future ready. So if you talk 10 years or 20 years from before now, in the year 2000, not every place were using computer. There were only a few places where computers were used. Banks were completely manual operated. Government jobs were manual operated. Railway industries were manual operated. Only few things, a few places computers were used. But right now, you are living in an age where no matter what profession you are using, even if you are a shopkeeper, you have to use a computer to keep all the records, right? So no matter how small your job is, everybody is using a computer right now. So this same case is going to be with robotics a couple of years from now, where no matter what job you are doing, maybe you are a doctor, even then you will be using surgical robots. If you are a delivery person, you might be using a some kind of robot that will help you send parcels. So let's consider Zomato. It will the Zomato guy will come below your building, and maybe he will send a drone that will give your order on your doorstep. Maybe that can happen. So the future is like, it is unpredictable. Everywhere it will be completely robots that will be working. So if you don't have to lose your job, definitely you should learn how to use robots, or else you will be out of job. Okay, that's for sure. So as I said, Rigbital Labs, we were starting as a helping industries. We were making them future ready with all the technologies like virtual reality, augmented reality, robotics. But the major thing we saw was Indian students were not Indian engineers, particularly. Whenever they graduated, we were expanding our team, we were hiring engineers for our company, and we saw that they were not skilled enough to work as a robotics engineer. Why? Because they didn't even got any sort of particular training for robotics. There are a lot of courses for computer programming. There is a lot of computer courses for artificial intelligence. But for robotics, there aren't much courses, or there aren't much quality courses. So that is when we started to give back to the students, and Rigbital Labs started a new vertical for the students. So in this vertical, we started offering free workshops and trainings. So just like right now, I'm telling you about my experience. We have free workshops on and on throughout the years. We give trainings, we give free simulation platform. So just like right now I have some robots with me. If time permits, I will show you those things. But we provide free simulation platforms. We provide real robots for free to try it out. So if you have no money to buy a real robot, you can try our robot over here for free without any external cost. You can program it, you can access it, you can do whatever you want with it completely free. You don't have to even pay 1 rupee for it. And we provide low cost robot kits. If you want to buy it, if you don't want to just try it, if you want to buy it, we provide it at a very low cost at almost zero profit, because Rigbital Labs is not doing it like not taking profits from students. We already have a well settled industry in the industrial side. So we do this completely at no profit basis. And we also provide industrial mentorship. So we have people who have worked into industry to train you to work into industry. So you learn from them how you can work into the industry. You get their industrial insights. It is a complete 2 month long training program and stuff like that. So we do a lot of these things. I have a couple of like things I want to show you. It will not take more than 2 minutes. So if you go onto our website, rigbittallabs.com/sim. So this is the simulation platform that we are working on currently. So it is a free simulation platform. You can just put down your name to log in. So I will just put my name, email address, and my mobile number. And it will load the simulation platform. Yeah. So here I have this robot with me, which is a tortoise bot that we made. It is an intelligent robot. So right now, the robots that you see, it used to follow line, it used to do a couple of things. But this robot is more than that. It can do autonomous navigations and stuff like that. So first of all, I can control the robot manually. I can control it using my arrow keys like a computer game. And here you can see what the robot is seeing. So I can give it some goals to go and it will go over there. So here I can increase the speed if I want. This is a complete simulation of the robot. We are also working on it, adding few extra buttons, extra functionalities. So soon it will be completely ready. So you can try it out for free. We are doing it so that you understand about robotics. Apart from that, if you want to try out on real robot, you can go on to Playground. Similar way, you can book an appointment whenever you are free. So here there is an appointment schedule. So you can select date and time whenever you are free, and you can try this on a real robot, on this robot which I have with me right now. You can try all these things on real robot. So we do a lot of these things now and then. So there are a couple of things that I want to tell you, key points, like if you want to follow this robotics as a career. So first thing, be passionate, because if you are not passionate about robotics, you won't be able to achieve it, because it is completely about creativity. If you think a robot idea out of the box, only then your robot is something different. Or else it is just anything else. Like, okay. Next thing is internet is the best teacher. Everything is available on internet for free. Even we are providing a lot of content for free. So go and check it out. Go and check YouTube videos, Instructable's website, and a lot of more things. So learn everything from internet. And life equals experience. So if you want to get the best experience, participate in various different competitions. Go to participate in various competitions. You will learn a lot from it. Even if you fail, you will learn a lot. Okay, so please participate. And the last thing is ROS is future, which is like robot operating system. So if you want to achieve career in robotics, don't forget to learn ROS, because that is going to be the future. Each and every robot is going to use ROS in future. So that was it from my side. I also have a YouTube channel where I post robotics related video. It has crossed around 3,000 subscribers, 3,500 subscribers, I guess. So if you wish, you can go and follow me. I post regular videos over there.